Sketching like an architect isn't just about pretty drawings or social media worthy type of sketches that you should be posting online. Rather, these are capturing ideas with precision, creativity, and of course, clarity. So in this video, I'll be sharing to you 6 essential tips that I believe are very important for you to improve your sketches. These tips are just a glimpse of what I'll be sharing in my in-depth video guide in my Patreon account. So, let's dive in. Tip number 1 is to master your lines. Every line that you draw should have an intention, whether it's an outline, a guideline pa man yan, or even a texture detail. Use line weight to show depth. Lines in front or foreground should have a thicker line weight or a heavier line weight. And lines on behind or background should be more lighter or having a lighter line weight. And remember this, I always started with this one because I was into sketching. I always wanted to sketch human beings before. Definitely how you sketch human beings, how you do sketch those things, can have a variation and difference between sketching architectural sketches. So avoid hairy sketches. No matter how you see different architects or different artists do this type of style, knowing foundational drawings and having a style is a big difference. So start with foundation first before you go in with your own style. Your style will come on as soon as you progress into sketching and to improving your own self. So again, it doesn't matter if sometimes it wavers or sometimes you get wobbly. Just continue to be confident with your lines. One stroke is enough. Next up is perspective. Whether you're practicing 1-point perspective for interiors or 2-point perspective for exterior sketches. Mastering this skill set is key for creating believable sketches. And even though we're not creating realistic illustrations just like what we have in renderings, we still want to at least have an illustration that's as close as possible and as believable as possible as we can. Use guidelines to help you. First is the horizon line and second is vanishing points, whether it is drawn physically on the paper or just an imagination of horizon line and vanishing point. Use guidelines to map out proportions and angles as accurate as possible. With practice, definitely perspective will become second nature. Third is light and shadow. It is very important for us to understand where our light is coming from. In this composition, you can see that my light source is coming from this window, meaning my shadows are on this side. Shadows are very important because without shadows, your sketches are going to be flat. So when you have shadows and light source and those stuff, you will have a better mood and composition for your sketches. So again, always determine where your light source is and then use hatching and shadows to create where the light source is, where's the lighter and darker side of your sketching. Of course, for architectural sketching, it is very important to make your shadows and your shades as clean as possible. Tip number 4 is composition. A good sketch should not just only be accurate, it's going to be boring. Rather, it should also be visually appealing. Use the rule of thirds to place focal points and use negative and positive spaces in your sketches and your composition. You should also be making use of leading lines, helping the viewer's eyes. Think about the foreground, middle ground, and background to help you create a depth for your visual awareness and appearance of your sketches. Tip 5 is texture. Architectural sketches include different types of textures from bricks, glass, and wood. Keep your textures as clear as possible and as consistent as possible, using consistent line patterns or line techniques. This not only helps you create a visually appealing sketch or even adds character to your sketch, but rather it helps you communicate what is your design intent with the people that are involved in your own, let's say, project or just simply with the people around you. We just have discussed about the 5 different tips. And lastly, number 6 is observe like an architect. Good sketches come from sharp observational skills. Look for patterns, proportions, and relationships in what you see in everything and every day. From human beings scales, from the patterns of the floorings, the patterns of different materials, from what you see with different buildings, how they do the windows, how they do the roofings. All of these things are very important. That's why you should observe like an architect. Simplify bigger complex forms into simpler shapes like circles, squares, and triangles. And then after, pay attention to materials, to shadows and textures and patterns that you see every day. These are going to be essential once you translate what you've seen or what you've observed into your paper. The more you observe, the better your sketches will become. Trust me. Before I end this video, give me at least 1 to 3 minutes of your time. I would like to read this, something first that I've written before when I was practicing architectural sketches. I read this from a PDF. I forgot who the architect is, but he is trying to promote architectural sketches, and despite having a lot of digital sketches and AI, he still wants to maintain architectural sketching. If you can sketch it with pen and paper, you can convey it with any other visual media. May it be digital media or let's say other wet and dry media. Knowledge and skills gained through hand sketching help you become better even as digital artists. When I was an architecture student, I only had the opportunity to create models and to study how to render. When I was up until 4th year, I only made traditionally drawn plans and plates up until 1st to 4th year. And so it was a struggle for me before because definitely there was this social comparison that I'm seeing with other people, with my other blockmates. But I must say, I can easily study and observe things. I can apply what I've drawn traditionally, like simply thinking about those things and applying it into the digital world or the digital media. It's a better process for me. And I hope that since you're watching this video, you're trying to improve your sketching skills. And here's the last quotation that I want to read. Sketch to understand things and to make others understand you. Before anything else, I'm Prim, an architect here in the Philippines, and also, I must say, a content creator. If you're interested in videos related to architecture, architecture career, or architecture sketching, click the subscribe button to see more videos like this. I'm not gonna crop that anymore. I want it to be as authentic as possible. And also, I have just started posting in my Patreon account, which is a more exclusive, I guess, community that I will be posting in-depth guide about these sketchings, these tips. I will also be posting about different things as well regarding architecture and my career in this field. If you're still interested with my art side, I will be creating a different YouTube channel probably some other time. And so just like always, focus on what matters, and I will see you at the next one.